Hey guys, I'm about to do some repotting, so let's get to it. So I'm first going to go through some of the equipment I'm using here to perform this repotting. So of course first is my plants. I got a new Asparagus Fern and a Philodendron. I believe it's a Prince of Orange. I'll look into that more. And some cuttings of my Philodendron Brazil that I took a few weeks ago, and I think they're just about ready now. I've got pots, water to water it in afterwards. This is cocoa coir. I'm gonna mix in some to my soil, which is already a mix of some fir bark, cactus succulent mix, perlite. Then I put in mosquito bits and a systemic houseplant insect and pest control. Also, I've got some fresh neem oil spray mixed up that I'm just going to douse those guys with, those two, afterwards before I put it in the pots. I just picked this one up from Goodwill. It's got a little tray. I think the asparagus fern's going in there. And then I've got this old fridge drawer that works perfectly to catch the old soil. So it's just a good layout of what I use to do all of my repotting. So what I'm doing first here is taking my soil, I'm mixing in some cocoa coir, and that is just going to hold a little more water. And I just like making random mixes of soil. So sometimes I use cocoa coir, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have bark, sometimes I don't. Sorry for the wobbly table. More. I have this in a separate container because it actually came dehydrated in a block, but I just threw it in that container, added water, I made sure to hydrate it again before I mixed it into the soil because it really expands, and it actually takes quite a bit of water to get it fully expanded, and you might be thrown off on your watering schedule or something like that if you put it in first, or it might expand to get way too big for the pot. I don't know. I've never done it. I always hydrate it first. So I'm going to take my asparagus fern here. I can tell it's really root bound. This pot's way too small. I think I'm going to up it to this one, which is not much bigger, but I think it'll look good in that pot. The roots have these big nodules on it. I didn't know that about this plant, but I have a feeling those are going to get ripped off when I try to take it out of this pot. She's really stuck. There we go. And actually they came out just fine, but holy crap. Holy crap. This might need an intervention. What I'm going to try and do is soak it and break it apart once it's thoroughly saturated. I don't know what I can do with that right now. gonna set that aside. I guess you won't go first. Wait till last. Next is this philodendron, what I think is a Prince of Orange. I don't know, I've never had one, but it's just got about 10 pounds of fertilizer pearls in there. I don't know if they're spent, if they're new, whatever. I'm going to try and remove them because going into winter, and my soil already has some fertilizer type stuff in it. I also put worm castings in my soil, so whatever the cactus mix has in it, whatever brand I buy, and it happens to have fertilizer in it sometimes, plus worm castings, that's going to be more than enough for this plant through the winter. So, I got these two plants from the same place, like Home Depot, I think. This one has the opposite problem of that asparagus fern. There's like no roots in there at all. So I think I could downsize it actually. I feel like some old pungy parts of the original stem that this was probably clipping off of. I'm gonna just break that off. It's like kind of rotten. But there are good roots in here. I got most of those fertilizer balls out, and this is what we got. Not too bad. I might just, I'm gonna put it in this one so it doesn't dry out too fast. So this is actually a orchid pot. But what I like to do with all my pots is kind of, especially on the bottom, is put a little piece of paper towel. With these, it's okay if it goes up the side a little because there's holes on the side. And then I fill it up. I'm going to fill this most of the way up. There's not much of a root system here. I'm gonna stick this guy in. Fucking bugs. And just fill in around the base to make sure all of those roots are covered. Might cover a few of the bottom leaves. I'm trying not to, but can only do so much. Pack it in pretty nice. I'm fairly firm when it comes to this, although when watering it'll kind of pack in even more. So here it is. I'm going to set it aside and water it and also spray it down with my neem oil. Next, I've got these Philodendron Brazil cuttings. As you can see, maybe they've got some of those roots forming. They're less than an inch, and there's a lot of new ones poking out still. I think that's just fine a stage to pot them in some dirt. I've got this little plastic pot I'm reusing. I'm gonna just fill it up with dirt, skipping my tried and true method of paper towel because they blew away, and I have the urge to just stick the whole clump in, but I'm not going to. So this guy was a growth tip, not ideal. But it's got some roots and some new leaves shooting out, so stick it in there. Got just a little hole there, and I just want to stick it across the whole pot so these top roots are under the dirt. I'm gonna continue the process of poking a little hole, sticking the cutting in. These are all single node cuttings. They've worked pretty well as single node. I used to do like multiple nodes, but just experimenting with these single nodes seems to have worked just fine. I mean, I'm not going to have any vines here. It's not going to focus. I don't have any vines, but it'll vine out pretty quick. This is a fast growing plant. Man, these roots, you guys, not much has happened here. I'm going to try and lay it down. I guess I can kind of break through some of them. There's so many roots here. If I break some, it's going to have plenty. I mean, smells kind of vegetable-y, which is funny because it's an asparagus fern. I don't know. I'm just trying to break up these sides a little. Just jabbing in there. It's coming apart. See this guy twirling around the whole thing? You guys, if you don't break this up, it will not break through this kind of barrier. This is like a wall. So whatever, this is good enough. I broke up some of these side bits to just kind of force new roots to grow there and not in a spiral, so that's good. You can see I was aggressive. There's tons of roots here and I'm not worried. I mean, it's a cute pot. It's probably not big enough, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm not doing it. Okay, I upgraded to this larger terracotta because it was already just busting over the top of that last one. Just gonna shove soil all around the edge. Keep shoving it down because you don't want air pockets. Shoving it down. There we go. So, I think those are the 3 I wanted to get done. Now, I just want to water. What are you doing? Water them fairly thoroughly. Till I see water come out the bottom. Especially this guy. What do you think, bud? Good. I think that's good. Now I am going to just drench them with, not Miss Myers, but neem spray. I put some neem oil and some dish soap and water in here. That's what I use. I don't have a recipe, to be honest. First I get my dog out of here. Hey, Peps, go away. Then I proceed to spray. First I do all the tops, shaking as I go. Tops from this vantage point. And then I try to get underneath. And the soil. Stuff smells bad. And I'm not too concerned with getting other beneficial insects out here right now. It's really not an active time of year for anything but black flies and ladybugs. And though those are fine in their own right, I might have an incidental take of 1 or 2 of those. Getting all underneath and the soil. I'll leave these out here in the shade to dry completely. Let all that neem oil dry off, and then I'll bring them inside. Hopefully a little bit separate from other plants, though that space is valuable. There you go. So, that's all done. I'm just so glad to be able to utilize this beautiful day. It's probably 55 degrees, 60 degrees out, and just a gorgeous sunny fall day, and there's not many of those left, so I'm glad I could do some stuff outside. I got my whole outside garden pretty much prepped for winter, torn down, the fence is down, I mowed it. Not sure if I want to turn it over or not, or do that in the spring, but all I have to do is plant some garlic and get some Brussels sprouts out of there, and that will be at rest too. So winter's coming, you guys, and it's a good time to be outside in a light flannel and not freeze your ass off.